Having the discipline to do what you need to do to get lean is what's going to separate you from the rest. Everybody wants to look good. Everybody wants to have that attractive physique, but the majority of people don't have that because the majority of people don't have the discipline to do what they need to do day in and day out, regardless of how they feel, regardless of the motivation that they might have had before, but is not present in this current moment. If you want that attractive physique, if you want the confidence that you feel when you look in the mirror and you think, shit, I actually look amazing. If you want the quantity and quality of women that you're going to start to attract when you do get this type of physique, you need to be able to do the things that are necessary, the actions that are required to get that type of physique, regardless of whether you feel like today's the day to do it or it isn't. Because whether you feel like it today or whether you feel like it tomorrow or next week or the next month, you still have to do the action if you want the result. Actually doing the thing that will get you the result, actually eating those clean meals, actually tracking those calories, actually going to the gym, training intensely. Those are the things, those are the specific actions that are going to get you the physique that you want. But if you allow your emotions to dictate the things that you do, not only is that like extremely feminine, but you're not going to get the results that you want. You're not going to get the physique that you want, because the people that have good physiques, they don't do that. The people that have the physiques that you want, the people who attract the type of women that you want, the people who are looking the way that you want to look, that have the confidence because they've got the physique, they do the actions regardless. They do the actions just because they're scheduled, just because they're planned. That's why they have the physique. The majority of people don't have the physique. The majority of people don't have the discipline to allow themselves to achieve that type of physique. The motivation that you experience when you watch a video of someone with a good physique, everybody feels like. Don't get it twisted. Everybody feels like that. Everybody gets the same motivation, and everybody locks in on the diet for one day and locks in on their training intensity for one day. Maybe even extend that to a week, but it's not going to be a day. It's not going to be a week that you have to do the correct actions to get a good physique. It's going to be months, and then to get the extraordinary results, it's going to be years. But once you get there, this is the thing that a lot of people don't realize, because obviously, unfortunately, most people don't have a good physique. Once you actually get the results, once you actually look amazing, once you have that amazing physique, you get motivated by yourself. You get intrinsic motivation. You get motivated by the results that you start to achieve, the women that you start to attract. When you look in the mirror, you see those veins under your abs, you get motivated by that. You look at videos that you've made yourself, you get motivated by that. And that is what's going to allow you to keep that physique forever, because you never really want to go back to the reality that you were living in before, when you didn't look good, when you weren't attractive, when you didn't have a good physique. So there's a period in between where you're just going to have to use that discipline. You're going to have to use that willpower to do the actions regardless. You're going to have to hit those calories, whether you want to or not. I don't want to hit my calories every day. Believe me, if I could eat unrestricted like most people do, I would be 40% body fat. But I have the discipline. I've had to I don't have that discipline just automatically, by the way. Like, I'm not trying to, it's not genetic or anything. I've had to build that just the same way that you're going to have to build that discipline. I have had to build that discipline by doing the actions every day, regardless. Eventually it comes to a point where your brain stops telling you, don't do this thing, or stops telling you to eat those cookies, or stops telling you to go to bed on time, because it knows that you're going to go to bed on time. You're going to not eat those cookies. You're going to hit your meals. You're going to go to the gym regardless of what you feel like. And that's when it gets a lot easier. And that's when you get the results. So if you want those results, you're going to have to do the things that you need to do, regardless of how you feel, regardless of the level of motivation that you're currently feeling. I used to skip the gym when I wasn't motivated to go. I used to eat some bullshit instead of the meals that I had planned when I wasn't motivated to get lean. That was the worst offender for me, definitely, because like, I have a massive appetite. Being lean doesn't come naturally to me, honestly. But there's a certain point where you have to decide, how bad do you actually want it? Do you actually want the physique? Do you actually want the results, or do you not? Because if you don't, that's fine. You just have to be like everyone else who's not happy with their body, or who pretends to be happy with their body. But if you actually want the results, you want it for real, you have to realize that you're not always going to feel like going to the gym. You're not always going to feel like eating the meals that you had planned. You're going to feel hungry sometimes. You're going to feel a bit sick of the meals sometimes. You're going to feel like you're going to feel like doing things that everyone else does, and everyone else just gives into their emotions. But the discipline is being able to stay strict to the things that you have planned for yourself to do anyways. Being able to keep those promises to yourself. If you promise yourself that, okay, today I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to eat 2200 calories, and it's going to be all clean food, and I'm going to go to sleep at 10 p.m. exactly, and that's what I'm going to do today. If you've got to the end of that day and you have not done those things, Now say it's 1 a.m, you've eaten 3,000 calories and you didn't go to the gym. Like, that used to be my reality, don't get me wrong. Then it's like, you just have to look at yourself like, yo, what am I doing? Like, am I a fucking, like, what's wrong with me? That's the type of mindset that I come at myself with. That's what really, like, it really, I had to get a little bit angry at myself, to be honest. I did have to get to the end of that day, breaking all the promises that I made myself, and then get a bit angry with myself. Like, what the fuck's wrong with me? If I actually want this result, then I have to do the things. And that's the type of mindset that you're gonna have to have if you want the results. Like, to be honest, right, there's some people that are gonna come to you and be like, I don't know, please hit your calories, please eat good food, it's healthy for you, please go to the gym. If you can't go 4 times this week, just go 1 time, it's all right. Now, if I spoke to myself with that type of attitude, I would have never got the results, because that's just too feminine. It's like, that's just a pussy way to come at someone and tell them, yo bro, if you want the results, you actually have to do the things. It's not, no one's going to give them to you. Nobody's going to give you a good physique. You have to be very critical of yourself if you want the results, because people who are not critical of themselves, people who, fuck up their calories from the day and they're like, I don't care, don't matter, I'll just get back to it tomorrow. Nah, tomorrow you're going to do the same thing probably, because you don't actually care if you want the result or not. So to actually get that physique, you're going to have to be the type of person that is not happy when they don't do the things that they told themselves that they were going to do. When you break a promise that you made yourself, tomorrow, today, next week, it's going to happen eventually. It still happens to me, very rarely though at this point. But you have to be like, shit, that was wrong, I shouldn't have done that. If I want the results, I'm going to have to fix that mistake that I made, and tomorrow I have to be perfect. And once you can start to get into that routine where every day you're just hitting, you're just doing everything you need to do, you just go into the gym, you're not going to skip that session, you're just hitting your calories every day is good food, every day you go and sleep on time, you're sleeping nicely, you're waking up, you're ready to go again. Like, once you get into that type of momentum, that's when you actually start to see amazing things happen, and it just flies by. Honestly, the time flies by, you just keep doing the things, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, you look in the mirror, you've got a much better physique, you see a vein that you didn't see before. That's the type of things that you're going to start to see once you can actually get disciplined for real. The average person who just relies on their feelings to get them where they want to go, to get that physique, they're guaranteed to be inconsistent, absolutely guaranteed. There's certain days where you're absolutely charged up to go to the gym, just for no reason. It's like you had a gram of caffeine, that's just the type of day it is, right? And then there's certain days where you just feel, I don't really have the energy today, I don't really feel like it, something is just going on mentally, it is what it is. Those are the days where it's absolutely vital you go to the gym. Even if your performance is a little bit worse, like some days that's just how it is, right? But those are the mental battles that you have to overcome. You have to think of that gym session where you don't want to go. This is what I do, right? You have to think of that gym session as more of a mental workout than a physical one. There's some days where I've not really slept well, like, maybe I'm traveling, whatever. Next day I go to the gym, I've had 3-4 hours sleep, and I'm still going to go to the gym for sure. But those are the workouts where I'm thinking, okay, this is actually a mental workout more than a physical one. The physical one, I'm probably not gonna see amazing results from this workout, but for my mentality, for the discipline that I'm gonna build, it's an amazing workout. Those are the ones that most people just, they just fall at the first hurdle. They don't do those workouts where they don't feel like it. They only go in the days where they absolutely want to absolutely annihilate themselves. But there's most of the days you're not going to want to do that. Most of the days you're going to want to chill and take it easy. That's the way the human brain works, right? It just wants to stay comfortable at all times, just for survival purposes. But if you actually want that physique that other people don't have, if you actually want those results that other people don't have, you need to push past those points of resistance, those massive points of resistance where you're not going to feel like doing it, but you're going to have to do it anyway. And then the points of resistance slowly get less and less frequent. They slowly get less and less harder to jump over, right? They slowly get less and less harder to overcome, slowly get easier to overcome. So when you get to that point where, like at the point that I'm at now, when I've just pushed past so many points of resistance, when I've just jumped so many hurdles, when I didn't feel like it, now it's like I barely get that anymore. To go to the gym, it's like I don't think of that as anything. That's just what I do realistically. To hit my calories, to only eat. For example, a lot of people would find it insane that I only eat 100% clean food. Like, honestly, maybe once a month I'll have like a cookie. I don't know, once a month maybe. And that, honestly, that doesn't feel hard for me whatsoever. I really enjoy doing that. It makes me feel amazing, and it gets me the results that I want, of course. But for a lot of people, they can't go a day without eating some shit, right? But that's because I used to be like that. I used to eat junk food every single day. I used to eat, like, honestly, I was worse than most people. I don't think, like, a lot of people think that The people who have the results that they want, who are healthier, who have the physique, they think that it's easier for them. I used to have 50% of my daily calories coming from milkshakes and burgers, and like honestly, this is like 3-4 years ago, right? I used to order Uber Eats every day. No, I'm not like every day, and sometimes it would be 2 or 3 a day. I'm not joking whatsoever. It would be 2 or 3 a day. My mom would see this and she'd be scared for me. She was thinking I was gonna get diabetes. Honestly, I'm like that's the type of level I was on. So it does, like I said before, it doesn't come easier to me. It's just that I had to push past those points of resistance where I wanted to eat that junk food. I wanted to order that milkshake, but I thought, no, I'm just gonna go drink water instead. I'm gonna go to the kitchen. I'm gonna cook my beef and potatoes, beef and rice, have some fruit. That's what it's gonna be today. And the longer you do that, the longer you stay consistent, the longer you keep telling yourself no when you want to do something that's not good for you, when you want to do something that goes against what you're trying to achieve, the physique that you're trying to get. That's when you start to build that discipline. And it's honestly like a muscle. It's actually been scientifically proven now. It's like I think it's the amygdala. That's the part of the brain that controls the discipline. Apologies if I'm wrong, but once you do things that you don't want to do and you do it over and over, you actually start to build that discipline. That area of the brain gets larger, so that the next time you want to do something that you would have previously considered pretty hard, well, now it's not that hard anymore. And once you can get that momentum going, it's honestly, the results that you get start to become unreal. Most people negotiate with themselves on whether they're going to do the action that they're supposed to do or not, whether they're going to go to the gym or whether they're going to eat that clean meal. It's always an argument with themselves. You need to say to yourself, you need to realize that you actually have the power to do whatever you want. You don't have to eat the donut if you don't want to. Like nobody's forcing the calories to enter your body. You don't have to stay at home and watch Netflix instead of going and training intensely, lifting heavy weights in the gym. You don't have to do that. There's nobody forcing you to do that. It's your own body and your own mind, realistically, that is actually, it's the part of your mind that wants to be comfortable, that wants to be lazy, that is making you do those things. You need to separate the emotion from the decision. You need to separate the feeling that you get when you're comfortable, when you're sitting down and eating pizza, whatever it is, the bullshit actions that are gonna take you further away from the physique. You need to realize that emotion that you're feeling, it's not necessary. You don't have to feel like that. And everybody wants to feel like that. I want to feel like that. Why not? But I want to have the physique more than I want to feel like that. You need to make the decision that I'm gonna eat that meal anyways. I'm gonna go to the gym anyways. I'm gonna do what I plan to do to the day. It doesn't have to be those things. I'm gonna do 10,000 steps today anyways. I'm gonna stand up right now, leave the house, lock the door, and go on a walk for an hour. And that's what I'm gonna do, because you actually have autonomy, right? You have agency to do what you need to do regardless of whether you want to do it or not. That's what you need to realize. And when you start to negotiate with yourself, like most people do, on whether maybe I should actually do this instead, or I don't really feel like it today, or all the bullshit that goes through a person's mind, if you even allow that to happen, you're already starting to lose the battle. There's always going to be a battle mentally about initially anyways, right, whether you want to do the action or not. But once you even start to consider the possibility of doing something else, you've already started in a bad position. There should be no argument, no negotiation. There's no democracy, right? When you want to get a good physique, it's a dictatorship. One of the most important things that's going to happen to you when you're consistently disciplined is that you're going to start to reinforce the identity, the positive identity that you want. You're going to have the identity of someone who is healthy, who is lean, who is attractive, who is an athlete. You're going to start to feel like that type of person. And once you have that fully, that honestly, all your actions flow through your identity. For example, someone who's a vegan and they go out to eat and they're looking at the menu, right, and they see a ribeye steak. Automatically they're thinking, oh no, I can't eat that. It's not even an option for them to eat that. Why? Because of their identity. They say they can't eat that. Not that they don't want to. Maybe they want to, I don't know. But probably. But they look at the menu, they see the ribeye steak, they think, oh no, I can't eat that. Why? Because I'm a vegan. That's the thought process that's going on. I'm a vegan. I don't eat that. I don't eat that, right? You don't do that. When someone offers me a donut, it's like, oh no, I have an 8-pack. I'm healthy. I can't eat that. That's processed fats and sugar. I don't eat that really. Obviously, every once in a while, But that's the type of thought process that you start to get when you embody the identity of someone who is the person that you want to become. To be attractive, you need to have that identity of someone who's attractive, because then you'll start to do the things that will allow you to be attractive. If you want to be lean, to be attractive, of course, then you need to have the identity of someone who's lean, because someone who's lean doesn't do 1,000 steps in a day and just eat Domino's pizza all day. They don't do that because that's not their identity. I would feel like if I had to do that, if someone forced me to do that, I would go insane. You'd have to like, I would have to recover. I would have to go see a psychologist or something, because that has gone so against my identity that it would cause mental turmoil, right? So and the thing is, you only build this identity once you have been disciplined with your actions. Like I said, this didn't come naturally for me. I had to build that. But once the discipline compounds over time, the actions that you do that you maybe didn't want to do every single day, they get easier. It compounds over time. Over time, it becomes effortless. The discipline is there, but it doesn't even feel like discipline to you anymore. That's the most beautiful thing about it. The discipline that you once found that was difficult to do, perhaps, now you have embodied the identity of a person who just does that anyways. So now you have the results, and you keep doing the things that are going to allow you to achieve that physique, but it doesn't even feel that difficult anymore. Now, when you're trying to build that discipline, there are things that you can do to make it easier for yourself. For example, if you want to be the type of person that just eats clean food, single ingredient, cooks for themselves, that's it, no bullshit, then you shouldn't have any bullshit in your house whatsoever. No Oreos, no Doritos, no pizza, frozen pizza, no cookies, right? That shouldn't even be available to you to get easily, because with a small amount of discipline that you're trying to build, you will succumb to that, and you will start to remove the progress that you've previously made. Like you won't go from having a small amount, average amount of discipline to a good amount of discipline straight away. That won't happen. Like I said, it has to be over time. It has to be consistent actions. So you need to start to cultivate that type of environment where it's easier for you to be the type of person that you want to be. Eventually you get to a point where you can be in a house full of cookies and pizza, and it doesn't matter to you. You know, you're so strong-minded that it will be easy for you to stay strong regardless. But most people are not starting with that. Most people don't have that. So you need to make the environment conducive to building an attractive physique when that's what you want. Now, when you want to go to the gym, if you're the type of person that sometimes feels a bit demotivated, they don't want to go to the gym, right? They feel a bit tired, they make excuses, I'll just have an extra rest day. You need to start to command your body to go anyways. You need to prepare your gym bag the night before. If you go after work, you need to put your gym clothes inside your bag, and then you leave work and then you go to the gym. Like, you tell yourself that you're not going to drive home before you've been to the gym first. That's just how it is. You can command yourself to do things that you don't want to do. That's what a lot of people don't realize. It sounds so simple, right? You need to realize that you actually have ultimate control over your actions, over what you're going to do. It's crazy that most people don't actually realize this. When most people get the feeling of, going and eating pizza, they just go and eat pizza, and I just felt like it. When they're supposed to go to the gym and they don't want to, they just, they're feeling a bit too comfortable, they're feeling a bit lazy, they just think, I'll just have an extra rest day, it's fine. You need to realize that you can actually just command yourself to stand up, start walking to your car, and go to the gym anyways. You can have the feeling of eating some junk food, but you can just tell yourself, actually no, no, it's not going to enter my body without my consent, so I'm just not going to do it. That's it. It's as simple as that, really. Once you realize that you have ultimate control over your actions, and therefore your results, your physique completely within your control, that's when you actually get the results. You actually do the things that you're supposed to do, and you get to the place where you want to be. Simple as that, really. If you want more help to build an attractive physique from me personally, then check the top link in the description. That's my community where you can join other guys who are building attractive physique as efficiently as possible. In-depth modules from me where I go into depth on everything that you need to know about building an attractive physique. And obviously you can get guidance from me personally as well. Ask me questions. I'm going to help you to get there as fast as possible. Top link in the description if you want to look sexy.